All right, since we're on a break from NHL action because of the Four Nations tournament, let's get caught up with all things Rangers with my guy, Jonny Lazarus of the Daily Faceoff. Jay Lazzy, how's it going, my man? We're going to call this the State of the Rangers address with President Lazzy. What's going on, Jay?
That's high praise. Thank you for having me, Brandon. I appreciate it. It's nice to have a couple weeks off from NHL action and get to see the best on best. I'm
Yep.
fired up for Four Nations, so it should be a great 2 weeks.
All right, let's talk Rangers hockey right here. As you know, everyone watching this knows it's kind of been like an up and down season for the Rangers. How would you sum that up so far with what you've seen?
Well, there's been way more downs than ups, which we're not used to saying, I think, at least for the most part, here in New York watching the Rangers. But I still do think there are a lot of positives to take away and things to look forward to. The Eastern Conference right now, most people would say there's a lot of parity, but I think it's a lot of mediocrity. And the Rangers, while they do fall in that, they could rise above it. Last year after All-Star break, they were struggling. They were 5-7-2 from the turn of the calendar into All-Star break last year, and Igor Shesterkin was playing his worst hockey, probably of his career at that point. And I know this team isn't last year's team, but that team came out of All-Star break and went on a 9-game winning streak. They won 10 out of 11. They were on fire. So you never know what a little break can do and what it can do to rejuvenate a group like the Rangers. I think it gives more time for JT Miller to get more comfortable with, Adam Fox, Vinny Trocheck, and Chris Kreider, who he's playing with on Team USA. Mika Zibanejad playing for Team Sweden during the Four Nations break could, start to get his motor going a little bit more, playing for his country. There are a lot of things that you can take away as positives. And to me, one of those positives is that the Eastern Conference is wide open. Outside of Washington, it's up for grabs. The Capitals have had a really strong season, but to me, they're still beatable. And all the Rangers need to do is find a way to get into the playoffs, and anything can happen from there.
You mentioned JT Miller. I asked a lot of Giants fans who, as you know, are Rangers fans, that I told them I was going to be talking to you today, and I was like, give me a question to ask my boy Jay Lazzy. They wanted to know, how would you rate the addition of JT Miller?
I think it's been great. I think if I'm giving a letter grade right now, it's just an A minus, but I still think that's really positive. JT Miller to me is a culture changer, a guy who shifts the identity of a locker room and an organization. And that's what the Rangers are trying to do. They're trying to rebrand themselves on the fly. Bringing in a guy as fiery as him, as skilled as him. He is a first line center right now that can, be the first guy in on the forecheck. He can fight, he can hit, he can score, he can outskill his opponent. He does a little bit of everything. And the Rangers have been a little bit soft to play against in the past few years. And I think JT Miller just makes them a harder team to play against. And that's all you want come playoff time. JT is also, from what I've seen so far, a leader in the room, a guy that demands respect and has gotten it so far from his teammates too. And I think it helps having Vinny Trocheck here to, maybe help smoothen that transition for him and, allow his teammates to get used to his personality. And so far, from what I've seen through the first few games, it's been a pretty strong fit.
A minus. If I would have got a couple of those at UMass, I'd been I'd been a little bit better shape. 27 final regular season games left on the season. Kind of talk to the diehard Ranger fan here and the casual as well. What's the biggest thing to watch out or watch in terms of Rangers hockey for the final 27?
Well, I think the number one concern right now, and the one thing the Rangers still have to figure out, is what they're going to do with their blue line. They only have two guys locked up long term, and that's Adam Fox and Will Borgen. There is speculation that Ryan Lindgren might be traded, and it's a real possibility that could happen over the next week or so at the Four Nations tournament. But I do think the Rangers need to tweak it just a little bit more because I don't think their blue line is as strong as it could be. One name that I would love for them to add, I don't know how they do it. There'd probably be a trade package involved, will be Bowen Byram out of Buffalo, who makes a little bit over $3.8 million per year. He's an RFA at the end of the season. I think he'd be a great fit alongside Adam Fox on the left side going forward for the future of the organization. I don't know if the team has interest in him. I'm not reporting anything. That's just a personal preference. But, I do think rounding out the blue line and deciding the future that they want to go in that direction is probably the number one thing to watch for the Rangers, because right now that's their weakest link, excuse me, is how they defend. They have offensive talent, they have the talent in goal, but they're just a little bit too weak on the blue line. So if they can round that out and make it a little bit stronger, they'd be a scary team to play against in the second half.
You mentioned the amount of competition that's going down in the East right now, but let's go even deeper and take a look at the Met overall. Where do you say the Rangers stack up as of right now? And do you think that this team could put a run together and make the playoffs?
I definitely think they can make the playoffs, and I actually think they will make the playoffs. As far as the Metropolitan Division goes, like I said before, Washington is the only team that has impressed me consistently. Carolina is obviously a tough opponent, but even adding Mikko Rantanen, he hasn't fit like a whatever the saying is there, fit like a glove. Is that the saying? I don't know why I'm blanking on it. Mikko Rantanen certainly a threat, a scoring threat in Colorado, but the transition for him in Carolina hasn't been as smooth as we thought it would be. The Rangers have obviously stacked up against Carolina pretty well in the playoffs in recent years just because of the talent they have up front. The Rangers power play always finds a way to come through, and their goaltending always, outduels what Carolina throws at them. So that's not too big of a fear. Then the Devils are a team that, obviously can scare Ranger fans a little bit, but they've been super inconsistent this year. When they're playing well, they're a hard team to play against, but they're not doing that night in, night out. So I do think the Rangers right now, obviously the standings say they're fourth in the Metropolitan Division or fifth because they're behind Columbus at the moment. But I think the Rangers could finish in that three spot even if the Devils continue to play inconsistently. All it takes is the Rangers to win 4 or 5 in a row, and you never know what can happen from there. So I don't say it's out of the cards for the Rangers to finish in the top three of the division.
Well, when you said that they were going to make the playoffs, that got me smiling ear to ear because
Yeah.
ain't no party like a Jonny Lazarus Rangers playoff watch party. We'll
Good
keep that
times.
there because I got my bosses in the room right now. We can't go into what happens at these things. All right, let's talk about the Four Nations face-off, man. Puck is set to drop on Wednesday night. It's going to be a great tourney. What are you looking most forward to in terms of what are you looking at in the tournament? And honestly, I got to ask you, who do you think wins it all?
Yeah, as an American guy, it stinks to say, but I'm looking forward most to the Canada top power play unit. Cale Makar, Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, and Sam Reinhart
Yeah.
on a power play together that's like watching the Globetrotters play. So I'm excited to watch those five get to work. I'll be in the building in Montreal for USA versus Canada. I'm actually heading out tomorrow, so I'm super pumped to be there. I've never been to the Bell Center before, so the atmosphere I think is going to be incredible. Obviously watching best on best and, Team USA with a couple Rangers, representing their country is going to be really exciting as well. But, to me, it's watching the best three players in the NHL play on the same team, and that's Team Canada. And I do think Team Canada will win. I just don't know how anyone is going to stop them offensively. Like that team is they're loaded. But I don't want to count out Finland and Sweden too. That Sweden has a really good back end. Finland, I think, is a little bit weaker, probably the weakest of the four. But you never know what can happen in these things. It's a short tournament. It's a quick tournament. The chemistry doesn't always click right away, so it's going to be fun. If I had to guess, it would be USA Canada in the gold medal game. Not too much of a surprise, but I do think Canada comes out on top.
Oh man, I'm slapping tariffs on you for saying that, man.
Yeah.
I'm just joking around. Hey, when I played in the CFL, when I played in Montreal, I lived right down the street from the Bell Center. You're gonna love the atmosphere. You're gonna love that stadium, man. You're gonna love the atmosphere and just the overall competition of the tournament. Plus, make sure you get some poutine since you're
I was
in
just saying, what's the
Montreal.
bagel spot? I heard Montreal is the best bagels apparently.
Real bagels?
Yeah, yeah.
Poutine. I thought poutine was the thing up there, but bagels.
I don't know. We love our bagels here
We're
in New
here in
York, but
New
people
York,
have been
yeah.
saying Montreal. Yeah.
If you find somewhere, let me know, man, because I'm planning on going
I
up
will.
this summer. Hey, Jay Laz, appreciate you hopping on with us as always, my man.
Thanks, Brandon. Be good.